What's up, guys? Welcome to the second video in my energy series, and today we're going to be talking about one of the most neglected aspects of energy, and that is digestion. But just to remind you, this is part of a series that I'm doing on helping you to get more energy, on battling fatigue, on getting through your day and doing more and being able to spend more time doing the things that you want to do. And it's my belief that fatigue and lack of energy are one of the greatest plagues of our society. People are not able to get their workouts in, to get all the work they want done, to enjoy their lives because of fatigue. And so what these videos are here for are to help you to get through your day, to fight fatigue, and to be able to do more and to be you. One of the things I always like to say is that fitness isn't about what you look like. It's not about how much you can lift. It's not about how fast you can run. It's really about freedom, giving you the ability to do more things and more of what you want to do in this life. And I think that that's the basis of everything we do here at Warrior Soul. So what I want to talk to you about today as far as digestion is understanding what the digestive tract does, right? A lot of us think of the digestive system as like this tube that comes down from your mouth all the way down and out your butt, but it's a lot more than that. It's actually a very complex and wonderful system, and it operates very much like a machine does. But the problem is this: if even a little thing is off, it could throw your entire system out of whack. A lot of people don't understand this, but the digestive system is connected to our brain via something called the vagus nerve, and that's V-A-G-U-S. It's a long nerve that comes down from our brain and it's connected to different points in our intestinal tract. A lot of people also don't understand the fact that our immune system is largely located in our intestinal tract, and at some places it's separated from your waste products by a cell lining that's a single cell thick. So what I want to do is I want to give you 5 tips today that are going to help you to optimize your digestion and to optimize your gut health and to in turn give you more energy. So let's start. First thing I want you to understand is that digestion actually starts outside of your body, right? A lot of the foods that we commonly eat are not digestible, and I always talk about this, the fact that regardless of what diet you're doing, there are 2 things that really impact the quality of your diet. And this is true whether you're a vegan, whether you are paleo, whether you're keto, regardless of what diet paradigm you're eating. If these 2 things are not in place, then your diet is going to go to hell. And that is, they need to be nutrient dense. All the food that you eat needs to be nutrient dense, and it needs to be digestible. And the reason for that is because if a food is not digestible, you can't extract nutrients from it. And if it's not digestible, it's very likely that it's going to cause impact to your digestive tract. And because of the fact that your digestive tract is connected to your brain, anything that affects your gut is going to affect your brain, all right? A lot of you think of, you know, if you get butterflies in your guts when you get nervous, that's the reason why. And so anything that affects you there is going to affect the rest of your body. And it's going to affect your central nervous system. It's going to affect your mood, whether you're depressed or not, the amount of energy you have. It can affect your cravings, right? And we'll talk about this. But it starts outside of your gut, right? And you know, when we think about foods like nuts, like grains, even brown rice or quinoa, a lot of times these foods aren't very digestible. So what do we need to do? We need to pre-digest them. So with nuts, for example, I like to eat Brazil nuts every day. They're high in selenium, which helps my thyroid, but they're also not very digestible, even though they're very nutrient dense. So one of the things I do is I soak any nut that I eat, I soak it for at least 24 hours. Grains, I don't eat grains, but if you do eat grains, I highly recommend that you soak and sprout your grains or buy them pre-sprouted. Particularly quinoa, even though it's highly nutrient dense and it's a complete protein, and people talk about it as being very healthy, if it's not sprouted, you're not getting everything you can out of that quinoa. And it's actually a simple process. I'll put some links in the description box below that will help you with that sprouting. All right, so that's the first step, making sure that the food that you eat is digestible, and if it's not digestible, pre-digesting it a little bit. A lot of you probably eat oatmeal more commonly, and overnight oats is another thing that is a form of pre-digestion. I'll put a recipe for overnight oats below as well. The next thing you really want to think about is once the food gets into your mouth, you need to understand that the digestive process is largely a catalyst of how well you're chewing your food, right? And that's because our saliva actually contains a lot of enzymes that help to pre-digest food before it actually gets into your stomach. And if we're not chewing our food enough, we're not allowing those enzymes to take hold. So you really want to chew your food until it's liquid. Chew your food until it's mush before you actually put it down. And part of that is just being mindful, right? I'm always on the go. I'm constantly moving. When I eat a meal, I wanted to just get it in my body, get it over with, and be done with it and move on to the next thing. But I'm really going to encourage you to really sit down and chew your food as much as you can, because if you're not chewing your food, you're disrupting a very valuable process in allowing your body to get the most out of the food that you're eating. The next thing is this: if it's the middle of your day and you got a long work day ahead, it's probably not a good idea to eat a big meal, right? And the reason for this is because it actually takes a lot of your body's resources to digest, right? Whenever you eat a meal and the food's in your stomach, you're actually sending blood from the rest of your body to your digestive tract, and that's stealing valuable nutrients and oxygen away from your brain. So you don't want to eat a big meal in the middle of your workday. What you really want to do is eat something lighter. I typically go with salads, I'll go with smoothies, I'll go with things that will allow me to digest very quickly so that I'm not affecting my energy. Regardless of what meal you're eating, and this is the next thing, it's really important that after you eat, you actually move, right? And why is this important? Because regardless of what we're putting into our mouths, it's causing a rise in blood sugar. And when blood sugar rises, our bodies also secrete insulin. And insulin's job is to bring our blood sugar back to baseline. And as it does that, that's also stealing valuable fuel to our brains, right? Because, you know, if your brain is fueled by glucose and your body and insulin's lowering your blood sugar, lowering that glucose level, then it's going to take some of that away from your brain. So it's important after you sit down and eat a meal not to just go right back to your desk and sit down and not move for a few hours. You want to go for a 15-minute walk. Maybe do a few sets of bodyweight squats in your office. Maybe do a few push-ups, something like that. I like to keep a kettlebell nearby in my office, and I'll get about 25, 50 kettlebell swings after lunch. Or maybe I will go for a 15-minute walk Piper here. That's my dog. So move after you eat. Very, very important in helping you to get energy for the rest of the day. And of course, including an exercise regimen in your daily regimen or in your daily schedule is going to allow you to get more energy in general. Finally, and this is the other thing you want to consider, understand that your intestinal tract is an environment. It's an ecosystem where you have about 3 pounds of bacteria living. Right? And this is something about our bodies that we don't typically understand. We see ourselves as one cellular organism, but you're actually millions of cells put together with one brain. And a lot of those cells are in your gut in the form of bacteria. And these bacteria can definitely control a lot of different things about you. They can control your personality. They can control how rapidly you put on fat. They can control your cravings. They can control your mood. And these are things that science is telling us about the gut microbiome, that group of bacteria that lives in our intestinal tracts. So what you really want to do is make sure that you're building up friendly bacteria. And I've talked about this over and over again on this channel. This can seriously affect your energy levels. If your gut is overgrown with bad bacteria like Candida, that can make you feel like complete crap. And you have to understand that these unfriendly bacteria are attracted to sugar. So you want to avoid a lot of sugar, a lot of processed sugar, because that's going to allow those bad bacteria to take up more real estate. what you really want to do is you want to attract the good bacteria, and it starts in 2 steps. Number 1, you want to seed your gut. So taking in food that's high in polyphenols. You'll see if you watch my smoothie video that I just put out, I put a lot of raw cacao into my smoothies, and that's because it contains polyphenols that actually seed the gut and attract friendly bacteria, allowing them to take up more of the real estate that's in there. Also, eating a lot of green leafy vegetables can also provide this kind of environment, friendly environment for friendly bacteria in your gut. The other part of the process is actually populating your gut with friendly bacteria, and that involves eating things like fermented foods, drinking kombucha, coconut kefir, which is an amazing fermented drink that is made out of coconut water, kimchi, raw sauerkraut. These are all amazing probiotic foods that you can include in your diet. The other thing you really want to make sure of is that you're also avoiding foods that will cause inflammation. And I've talked about this over and over again. One of the major causes and sources of inflammation in our bodies is the amount of omega-6 fatty acid we eat. Now, this generally comes from things like canola oil, corn oil, sunflower seed oil, and other types of seed and plant oils. It doesn't come from olive oil as much, although olive oil does have some omega-6 in it, and it doesn't come from coconut oil. So those 2 oils are actually okay. But you want to avoid a lot of foods that are either doused and fried in corn oil or canola oil, and you want to really avoid foods that have a lot of omega-6 in them. One of the problems is that a lot of the processed foods that we eat are very high in omega-6 rich oils. So you really want to pay close attention to your labels. If you see something like canola oil or seed oils in there, I would put it down. Those can be a really big steal on energy, because anything that causes inflammation to the gut is of course going to cause inflammation to the brain and to the rest of the body. It could cause aches, body aches, pains, it can make injuries worse, a whole bunch of different things that can really impact your levels of fatigue and your energy processes. So that's my take on digestion and energy, and I hope you got a lot out of it. In the next video, I'm going to be talking a lot about sleep and ways of optimizing your sleep and different things you can do to ensure that you're getting the best night's sleep possible. A lot of people think that it's just the quantity of sleep that matters, but it's actually the quality that matters just as much as the quantity. Quantity is important, but quality is just as important. So hope you're enjoying this series. If you are, let me know. Put comments below. If you're not, let me know. Put comments below. If you like it, like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll be back at you with another installment of my energy series very soon.